Hi guys, it's Omar here for Ultimate Rugby, and today we're going to look at who are the front runners to win this year's World Cup. And I'm sure you agree with me, this is going to be the most exciting World Cup and one of the tightest in the history of the tournament. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at the stats of the Northern Hemisphere superpowers in England, Wales and Ireland, and their Six Nations stats and their warm-up game stats versus those of the Southern Hemisphere in the All Blacks, South Africa and Australia, and their Four Nations stats and their warm-up game stats. And what those trends will do is give us an idea of who's coming in hot into the proper stretch of the World Cup. So first of all, let's look at who won the Six Nations, who won the Four Nations, and what are the commonalities. So Wales being the Six Nations champions and South Africa being the Four Nations champions have a few things in common. First of all, they both had the best defense in the tournament, conceding only one try a game on average. Both of them were right up there at number 1 and number 2 for dominant hits. And another interesting stat was volume of tackles. Both made over 200 tackles per game, which is an incredible stat. The other commonalities is in the kicking game. Both Wales and South Africa kicked the most out of hand. They had the most kicks out of hand and the most kicking meters out of any of the teams in the respective tournaments that they played. Now, a stat that most teams, or most fans should I say, don't really want to appreciate and don't enjoy, and I can understand why, is the carrying and running meter stats. Now, both Wales and South Africa, when they won these tournaments, had the lowest amount of carries and the least running meters. Now, I know what you're thinking. You think it's counterintuitive. You think, the more I have the ball, the more I can pressure the opposition. But it's not always the case in rugby, because when you have the ball a lot, you have an opportunity to make a lot of mistakes as well. And in rugby, error rate really hurts you. So for example, if you've got 60 or say 55% possession and you knock the ball on a lot, the opposition are going to score from counter-attack opportunities there. Or if you have a lot of rucks and you lose the ball ruck time, they could turn you over with a counter ruck, or holding on a jackal, steal the ball and score turnover attack tries against you. Or maybe, for example, you're dropping a lot of ball and there's a lot of scrums and your scrum's not functioning and you get a lot of scrum penalties against, and then you give the field position away that makes you be under pressure within your half and the opposition score more points than you from being in your half. So both Wales and South Africa have the kicking game in common, they've got an excellent defense in common, and obviously that territory-based game where they give nothing away in their half. Now let's look at the warm-up games. Now England, in their warm-up games, had Wales twice, they had Ireland, and obviously had Italy, which is strong opposition, and their stats have gone through the roof. They've always had a good kicking game, good carrying game, probably the most meters per average carry because they've got such big ball carriers. But what they've improved is, from taking 3 tries on average in the Six Nations, they're only conceding 1 try on average per game in the warm-up period. Now, their defenses look phenomenal, super physical, most dominant hits, also high volume of tackles, a massive line speed, putting you under pressure with a powerful kicking game and set piece. For me, they are coming in periodized well as front runners to be maybe in a final. The Springboks played Argentina and Japan and looked really good against them. A lot of dominant hits, only conceding 2 tries a game, continuing their good defensive form from the Four Nations. What's happening for Wales and Ireland? Well, they've conceded more tries in this warm-up period than they did in the Six Nations, averaging 1.5 tries more per game, which is unlike both of them because they usually both got great defenses. Wales, their running meters have gone up and their kicking meters have gone down. Ireland, ironically, their running meters have gone down and their kicking meters have gone up, and they've done slightly better than Wales. They've trumped Wales twice. Unfortunately, Ireland did take that hide into England, but they've done better than Wales. Wales seem to be finding their feet. I don't know if they periodized themselves to come in a little bit fatigued and use these warm-up games as conditioning, but they haven't been themselves. So their running meters are up, their kicking meters are down for Wales, and their tries conceded for Wales and Ireland are both up. So coming into this final period, I would say that England and South Africa, based on their defense, kicking game, big ball carriers and their set piece, are looking like front runners for the finals. The All Blacks didn't have a good Four Nations and they changed up a lot of their tactics, changed a lot of their personnel. They are always to be respected, but they didn't fare very well in the Four Nations. Their warm-up games were against Tonga, which, Tonga and Australia. Tonga, obviously, they thrashed, so their stats are slightly skewed. But you're always going to give New Zealand their due. They're going to be right up there. Australia, also a dark horse at any given time with the X factor they have, they could make a playoff. But for me, if you summed it up, I'd say based on defense, kicking game, and overall talent of squad, I say England, South Africa for a final with New Zealand there and thereabouts. Now we've got some clips for you to show the strike power of England and the strike power of South Africa. Both have got X-factor players and can score great tries, phenomenal tries, and the physicality of the defences of England, South Africa, All Blacks, and some clips of Wales. Enjoy the clips and we'll see you on the other side.